ranking the best and worst changes in the newest update, featuring 2 new biomes, 1 new enemy variant, major exosuit, enemy, sidearm, and stratagem rebalances, and a few other things. We'll begin with hive guards. Increased armor on head and front legs from medium to heavy, which likely fixes the bug that caused their front legs to be light armor that unintentionally gave players enjoyable counterplay. They did decrease the armor on body and claws from light to unarmored, and decreased health on body from 500 to 375, which does make them faster to kill if you go for the crevices in their front plate armor, or if you use explosive weapons, which will just encourage that meta even further. But this is such a detached and devoid of thought change, considering the way the game currently functions. Why give it heavy armor when that's the same thing on a Hulk and War Strider, when hive guards are a basic chaff unit that's spammed at you if you're on higher difficulties, and if you're going near bug nests that they're defending? They just spawn from bug holes constantly. Hello there, this is Doe's editor. Upon scrolling through the footage, I've noticed that Alpha Commanders can still spawn hive guards that now have heavy armor. Enjoy the rest of the video. I fail to understand why hive guards need to have heavy armor. And don't get it twisted, I'm not saying they're hard to kill, but the heavy armor aspect just doesn't serve a purpose. In fact, it takes away from folks that like the idea of medium pin weapons so they can be a bit less careful with their shots, which is a main thing that people use that for against the automatons. Whereas in both cases, you still have the light pin weak spot to go for. And they could have simply made that body shot the same HP as they reduced it to and kept the medium armor, and still let folks have a bit more choice in what they want to run for their builds. But instead, it's heavy armor. Making hive guards heavy armor only serves to upset the natural order of things that has been working pretty well so far, and essentially state that they're not actually chaff units, guys, because they have heavy armor now. I would not let it fly. So to me, this is 100% F tier, dog. It is terrible. How can they just ignore all the basic fundamentals of the game and just make that change? Rant aside, we'll continue. Bile Titans. Spew explosions are smaller to match the visuals better. That's great! You will usually die to Bile Titans in a way in which there's essentially a Wi-Fi spit. They're killing you, but the visual doesn't make any sense. If they fix that, that's good for, honestly, immersion and just a better user experience. Decrease explosion inner radius from 2.25 to 1. Decrease explosion outer radius from 3.5 to 2.2. I don't think that their spew was unfair outside of the visual being scuffed, and I don't know why they're making Bile Titans, a formidable foe, so docile. Like, why do they constantly make the Bile Titans so weak? I've been wondering that for a while now. I don't appreciate that part of the change. I will give this A tier. Well, I now know why they nerfed it. It's thanks to the new Spore Titan that can ragdoll you with its spew constantly. It's just a perpetual ragdoll if you get caught in a bad spot. Now, it takes longer to actually do the spew, so you can kind of avoid it, but they're spawning a lot more of these guys than Bile Titans previously. It's reminiscent of launch, kind of. It's a little ridiculous, which wouldn't be a big deal in itself either, but they're tankier. They're, again, like Bile Titans on launch with their HP. It takes more than an E17 Quasar shot to kill them to the head. It takes more than an ultimatum shot, which didn't exist on launch. But that's crazy. And I like the idea. I just don't love that they can ragdoll with spew, and they're tankier, and they're spawning more. All three things combined makes it questionable. And for me, I'm going to go like D tier. I don't think I hate it that much, but there's another change they also added, which is spore bugs. If you kill any spore bug next to each other, and there's other ones that walk through the mist, they are now on the snack that rivals crack, goldfish, and they're hunting you down because it turns every of those bugs into essentially alpha warriors. Wilburs are even faster. They're so fast they actually don't hit you very often, but they do body block you, which is beyond tilting. The speed of the newly buffed gloom bugs rivals that of lightning. Ka-chow. It makes a lot of things worse in the game. Your sentries will most likely not keep up. And by the way, they still waste ammo on the ground after killing things, which is ridiculous. And laser guard dog will just simply avoid hitting the warriors, the spore warriors they're just amped up. It can sometimes do well. And also arc dog will go after the single enemy that flanks you, because now they're so fast, they have time to flank just excessively, which helps them avoid all kinds of AoEs, such as your fire on the ground, and if you're the host, it works. If you're the client, it still doesn't work. Haha. And gas. They will ignore gas, and if they're affected by gas, they'll be so fast they're throwing it back, keeping up with you in reverse until the gas wears off, and they can just keep hitting you. Or they just hit you while they're gassed. So it's definitely a fantastic change that just happens to be an F tier because, I don't know, reasons. A new biome on Luxuriant and Brilliance that looks beautiful. Blue skies, vivid scenery, and you can see a lot. It's very clear. That's what folks have been wanting for a bit now. It's just biomes in which you can clearly see what's going on. And in this case, you can. There are a bunch of trees and that can block your orbitals and eagles and whatnot. I don't use those too often, so I'm not really peeved about it. I just really appreciate how good it looks to play on the map. So obviously S tier. Chargers now turn much faster after charging, giving players much less time to hit them from the back and attack their wagons, which is a hidden change, not mentioned in the patch notes, that, again, doesn't make any sense. Why? You didn't have that much time to begin with to hit them in their weak spot on the back. And the top of it, by the way, is still armored. So why decrease that time by a pretty noticeable degree if you play the game and ever went for that spot to begin with? It doesn't serve a purpose. It's just the devs looking out for the enemy AIs if they will log out the game, and the players don't matter. Flame Sentry. Increased range from 20 meters to 34 meters and increased damage by 50%. Increased how fast it panics enemies. Those are some pretty good changes. It will be dying a lot faster thanks to durable damage increase, though. Keep that in mind. But that alone right there, I believe those are S tier changes. Well, it would be if it did meaningful damage to anything that was somewhat close to it, because now it has good range, but the enemies that are maybe 5 meters away can sit there basking in the beams of lava as if nothing's happening. C tier. Gas effects now slow down enemies as long as they're confused, and this also applies to helldivers. The soul itself is 25%, and you don't really notice it. At least I didn't, and I'm using a bunch of different gas stuff. Sterilizer, gas mortar, gas grenades, gas mines, and especially on the new spore bugs, obviously, they're going to be faster than you when they're slowed down. So it's only going to hinder you if you're doing the niche stuff such as running the gas armor with Vitality Booster to mitigate all gas damage. You still get slowed, even though you're not being damaged by the gas, which one could assume means you're not breathing it in. So I'm not sure why they didn't really take that into consideration to improve this. Instead, it just feels as though it's a nerf for the player. And considering that enemies just seem to get faster and faster and faster, you have agitators, you've got the spore bugs, obviously alpha warriors. I don't know if slowing down the enemies is actually as good as people think it is. It's more so just a way to nerf the diver, if you ask me. Disguised as a buff. I think it's D tier. Sterilizer updated the visual effects of the fumes, and the gas lingers for longer and has a longer range. I spent about 30 minutes of pure game time using the sterilizer off and on, and I didn't notice the linger effect being that useful. So I'm going to give it C tier. Laser Sentry. Increased heat capacity from 200 to 250. That's it. I do believe that means the ammo it has and not increasing or speeding up how fast it can cool down to continue firing. And it also doesn't increase its targeting abilities. It doesn't help it target things that it can actually damage. It's still going to suck, dude. It's a C tier buff. Bile spewers. Increased durable damage on melee attack. Stalkers and prowlers, shriekers, scavengers, hunters, all warrior variants. Increased durable damage. Charger. Slight increase in durable damage of its melee and charge attack as if it needed it. Hive Lord. Increased durable damage on many of its physical attacks. The freaking the slam and salmon. It could hit your tank and not destroy it that fast. That's probably going to change pretty drastically. Although they don't give us the numbers, which is annoying because we have to wait for data miners to give it to us instead, and that defeats the whole we're going to communicate more spiel they give us. Dragon Roach. Increased durable damage on its flame attack. Impaler. Increased stagger force needed from 45 to 50. Slight increase in durable damage on its melee attack. All of the durable damage increases, by the way, F tier. But why is that? Because they affect more than just your vehicles. It also applies to sentries. But also, people weren't happy with how fast the Bastion tank was dying. So this will make that worse. Granted, they did buff the durable HP of mechs, which will be okay, but these have more these have farther reaching effects than people can really comprehend, especially the developers. And it just leads to this never ending need to balance things that you could just simply revert the durable damage increase to enemies in the first place and not have to do this. We think automatons and illuminates do damage reasonably well against the vehicles, especially now with the changes to the exosuits. The terminates, however, have fallen behind a bit in their ability to deal with vehicles, so we have made some buffs to their damage against durable targets. Why are the devs balancing the game as if the player's experience comes second to the enemy's experience because the bugs can somehow log off for the day? They can just quit, and if that happens, what will the players play against? I don't believe it was necessary to buff any of the durable damage for the most part. Like maybe Hive Lords, I'll give you that, maybe, sure. But everything, it just seems a little far reaching. Exosuits. We agree with the community that exosuits can break too easily, especially against the automaton faction. Therefore, we have made a bigger balance pass to increase its durability. Key point there, automaton faction, kill it too fast. Keep that in mind. Increased main health pool from 850 to 1600. Exosuit will only die if the main health pool is depleted before it could die if specific health zones were depleted. Increased vulnerability to acid attacks by 50%. Wait, what? Makes it die faster, what? Fix so parts of the cockpit's health zones are not blocked by the ragdoll actor. Now the cockpit zones will be damageable in the right way. Increase exosuit arms health by 250 HP. Exosuit arms now also have 50% explosive resistance, just like the main body. Removed constitution and bleed out on the exosuit arms. Why did that exist in the first place is a pretty good question. The alterations are heavily positive, but why they happened is entirely negative, and it outweighs the changes here, I think. So, D tier. This is why they're buffing durable damage for the enemy factions. But they mention that automatons and illuminate are fine. And automatons are the thing that keeps destroying exosuits. But yet they're going to buff durable damage on automatons still. What are we talking about? Automatons. Raiders. Increase durable damage of the melee attacks. Small arms fire from raiders. Turrets, devastators. Slight increase in durable damage. Berserkers. Increased durable damage. Those guys already freaking put our stuff in a ninja blender. Devastators. Increased durable damage on melee attack. Hulk. Increased durable damage on flamer attack. All the durable damage changes for automatons can kick rocks and fly a kite, pound sand, punch the wall. They're just like, it just makes it so they're going to destroy your sentries faster, your FRV faster, your bastion tank faster. But the mechs are buffed, guys. The mechs are fine. There is the inability to have any forward thinking with some of these changes whatsoever. And it is beyond infuriating. Potentially not S tier. Heavy Devastator. Shield is destructible and no longer made of vibranium. It's heavy pin, which it can be destroyed and has a health of 800 and durable 0.7. That's a pretty cool change, but I think they're only doing it because we're getting a mech with a shield, and you know we would have been like, how come our shield sucks and that guy is still freaking... He's just God. But I will mention it does not change a whole lot. In fact, the one thing it will improve is using anti-tank emplacement against the shield, because before they could survive 4 shots, now it should be 1 shot breaks it and the other one kills it. A solid B tier. War Strider. Decreased leg hip joint armor from heavy to medium, which at first I thought wouldn't be a big deal. It doesn't change a whole lot, but it is pretty impactful. Machine gun can kill it in a decent time frame. You'll miss some shots here and there just because it's a very small area depending on what's going on. But AMR takes 3 shots from even a pretty good distance, and you can kill it with a few other things, including the maxi gun. That is freaking sick. That's legit an awesome change. Granted, they should have made this a long time ago, but we finally have it. I'll give it A tier. All tanks main body, bottom part, increased health on main health pool from 3,000 to 4,000, increased health on back vents from 750 to 1,500, increased armor on back vents from medium to heavy. Remove tracks damage zone when the zone is dead. Remove damage cap to carry through from tracks to main health. So if you overkill it, more damage goes to main health. Reduce durable resistance on tracks 1.0 to 0.8. Reduce overlap damage zones when it's driving to match visuals better and do less damage. I don't understand the point in making it so the back vent is heavy pin. I don't get it. Like, this one's a bit weird. I'm gonna give it B tier for right now. I'm gonna have to do some experimentation potentially, and see what's going down. Shredder tank turret, reduced turn speed. I actually kind of like that because it was a little annoying that you couldn't do melee stuff. If you try and get close to it, it just turns and mows you down super duper fast. Like, it being faster than a regular tank, cool. It was freaking snappy. So I could appreciate a little bit of a slowdown. I'm gonna give that A tier. Barrager tank turret, increased health on weak spot on front and back from 750 to 1500. They doubled it. And by front and back, I do believe they're talking about the cylinders that fire the rockets. You can hit from the front or the back. B tier buff. I don't believe this change will make the enemy annoying to play against, at least not too much. And instead, it brings it in line with where it should have been to begin with because it was very weak. Illuminates, fleshmob, increased durable damage. I could have sworn that we all read how Illuminate and automatons are in a fine spot when it comes to durable damage, but Terminids have fallen behind, and yet they're buffing everything, every faction. What are we talking about? There are 2 more fleshmob related changes. They fixed a bug where fleshmobs could phase through everything in existence, which was quite annoying, and they also made it so they deal damage to vehicles while buffing their durable damage, which is interesting. So, that being the case, the no longer phasing through stuff is definitely an S tier change, but Tesla Tower. Lower destruction strength needed to destroy it from 30 to 20, so it requires... I think you can go back to using a regular frag grenade. Added health function with 200 health and armor 2. So you can just shoot it with your weapon instead of needing explosive to destroy it. It will function more like your regular Tesla Tower. This is also referring to the Illuminates Tesla Towers, or Tesla Spires, if you will. I think it's actually a pretty solid change overall. I'll give that S tier. I think it's kind of cool. They're no longer going to be gear checking you as hard for no reason. Spear, increased amount of missiles in the backpack from 3 to 4. That's a good change. Very unexpected, but appreciated. That's A tier. Ballistic shield backpack, increased health from 600 to 1000, which is pretty much only done because it has durable HP, and they buff the majority of enemies' durable damage. Not a good change because it doesn't have to happen in the first place. I'm gonna give that F tier. Stun Baton, decreased stam cost from 5% to 3%, increased damage from 75 to 120, increased durable damage from 38 to 60. Stun Lance, Saber, Combat Hatchet, Entrenchment Tool, 1 True Flag. Stam cost decreased from 5% to 3%. Those are cool, they're buffs. I don't believe the devs are truly respecting the risk to reward ratio when it comes to melee weapons in the game. So I appreciate these. I do believe that they're C tier. It's just the things that, it moves the bar forward, kind of, but not really. Defoliation tool. Increase the move damage hitbox to make it easier to hit the enemy. Longer window for when damage hitbox is active. Armor penetration increases twice as fast. Move slower when it does damage to an enemy. Decrease stamina cost from 10% to 5%. S tier changes, which does not make the weapon all of a sudden the best or even good, honestly, because it's not doing enough damage versus the larger enemies. And these changes do make it potentially a bit worse for chaff clearing. Since you're slower to recover from swinging things, you can't turn more quickly. That makes it difficult to sweep around you. And if that's the goal, that's fine. But again, it needs to be faster at killing the bigger enemies. Because risk to reward ratio for melee weapons is a different beast than using a rocket launcher from Narnia and killing something in one shot. They're just different. You're getting close, you're getting ragdolled by things that don't even hit you, often. For the bots at least. There's more than a handful of resolved known issues, such as enthusiastic mirth emote, the maniacal laughter, is now back on the menu. It's been fixed. But I don't really care about that too much. It's cool. I much prefer gunships and shriekers are now spawning during operations with the appropriate effect present. I do believe it means the modifier. Way to be freaking verbose about that. Just say the word. If true, I'm freaking amped. I love shooting down gunships. And when you see 3 of them spawning in your solo, it's kind of cool. In a group, there's 4. And you can just do a lot with mini weapons to take them out. They're fun. It adds another element of things to look at and deal with. It just increases the pace of gameplay for the bots in a decent way. Although they did buff their accuracy, and I haven't really dealt with too many at once because, again, it's been broken for a while. The mod that spawns them hasn't been working. But I like it. S tier. This update also saw the release of the Exo Expert's warbond with the lumber mech suit that has a flamethrower arm using potentially the CRISPR damage model. it's doing next to no damage. It's either that or has the exact same bug as the flame sentry, where they push forward the hitbox to where things that are up close just don't take proper damage. And I think it's on purpose because they know just how powerful flames can be when you're close to the source. It's the same reason you can still kill tanks very fast with the crisper. You've got a light penetration expendable machine gun. It couldn't have been medium pin. That'd be way too much, guys, considering the need to toss it in, make sure you're stocked up, use your stratagem, and deal with that little mini game, which is I actually like doing. I like tossing expendables, but it couldn't be medium pin, even though the game is giving you even less reason to use medium pin. It has to be light. Gallant is a copy and pasted Knight SMG, except it has medium pin, and it deals the same damage as the Liberator Penetrator. And the only problem with that is that SMG's whole shtick is that you have more damage than ARs, except you have to get close to make that damage count, since your bullets lose 50% of their damage after about 15 meters. So how come the devs forgot about that and gave it the same damage as Lib Penetrator, which the whole niche for that weapon is being medium pin as well? I will not be ranking this warbond, but you can guess where things were going. I do have a rant coming up in a moment. You can watch that if you want, or skip it. Choice is yours. It's a bit negative. But real quick, an affiliate link plug and my brother's business plug. If you need stainless steel pans, go to heritagesteel.com. This is a 10.5-inch stainless steel pan. I cook eggs in it every day dang near. I love it. 7 to 8 eggs, just chilling. If you do get something, I do not recommend titanium. It's more expensive, and I don't think it's better. And don't go crazy with sets. People buy like 6-piece sets, and I almost guarantee they don't use half of it. Don't do that. Get a pan. Get the smallest set possible, and go from there if you're interested. If you need some custom embroidery, my brother does stuff. Outwestseams.com. I have some scuffed merch up there. I believe hats, stickers for sure, and soon to be shirts. But he can do crazy things. Preferably if you are a business or you're looking for 10 plus hats for a sports team, a business, an event, check him out. It's pretty crazy what he can do with the machine. Mine's obviously basic because I don't have crazy ideas. And this was easy. Anywho, on to the rant. It's almost as if the devs do not understand the game in which they are tasked with balancing. Potentially as though they do not turn their monitors on when they clock in for work. I don't know, but this is the running trend that is driving me nuts. And I don't know, I just don't understand how they can really defend this nonsense, because you can look at one aspect and go, that's fine, you're getting too bent out of shape over nothing. Look at everything in this patch and everything throughout the past 2 years. All of the apparently 200 replicatable bugs the devs just can't be asked to fix. Instead, we only get meaningful changes when warbonds come out. As we just saw with the mech warbond as a buffed mechs, and said pretty much screw you to all the other weapons or items that have durable HP. I can't wait for the sentries to get buffed in the new sentry warbond, or the bastion to get buffed in the new tank warbond, or tank destroyer rather. This is ridiculous. This is downright despicable. And players have to understand the CCO himself, Johan Pilestedt, mentioned that balancing is a one-man job. And a person can assume that means that it just takes one feller to change some numbers here and there. So find a better person. Find someone that knows what they're doing, that understands the game's intricacies, that make it so fun to play, instead of the same handful of folks that just run it into the ground. Please don't misunderstand why I'm so upset. It is not simply because the warbonds are being given to us as solutions to problems the devs themselves continuously create, and they can do that endlessly. It is not just because the devs are seemingly incapable of fixing long-standing bugs that have existed for 2 years, some of which affect players in every game they play, to some degree, sometimes rather severely. It is mostly because the devs are putting their own selfish, self-destructive agenda above everything else, including the players that have made their game so successful in the first place. That is the reason that I'm the most upset. They are incapable of taking proper feedback, and I don't know why. This is not rocket surgery, and they're making it out to be. It's just a constant, never-ending cycle of this garbage. I'm getting pretty sick of it, man. I'm tired of picking games, putting so much time into it, caring, only for some of the most incompetent and ego-riddled people to run the show. Not people, developers. And at this point, the devs responsible for balancing the game are taking away from all the other developers that are creating an amazing experience that people can't properly appreciate because the gameplay doesn't feel great. Thanks to the folks that input the wrong numbers because they don't know what they're doing. It is malicious incompetence. Because I do believe the devs, they have this weird obsession with making the players have a worse time. I don't know what it is. It could just be a cultural difference. But I also think that there's incompetence in the sense that they don't know their own game. They do not know it. Or they don't care. So, call it what you want. I believe it's ego, and I also believe it's a bit of greed, and I know it's annoying. I know that it's just beyond tiresome. Because they're asking players for their money in some cases, but they're also asking players for their time. And yet, the devs can't be asked to give a dang. I don't know, dude. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since it's the exact same song and dance. Can't wait for them to say, we're listening, guys. Trust us, we're listening, please. Can't you just trust us on our words? I know our actions don't have any meaning. Our actions, they've amounted to nothing. But you can trust us because we say nice things. Just like the folks that they take advice from to balance their game. The people that just say nice things. I love when folks just say nice things and nothing meaningful comes of it. It's my favorite thing in the world. Big fan. I think we need more nice words in the world. Because that's all that matters. Action is it's void and null, after all. We should all be nicer. Okay, guys. That would solve all of our problems. Just be nicer. Works for everyone. I'm not wearing pants. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off.